Hi, welcome to my studio. It's Ivonne from the Fabric Hut. Hey, for our classic block this week, we are going to make these little, I call them flying geese trees. Um, I don't know what their official name is, but they have been around since forever. They were used in the Underground Railroad, all sorts of things. So this one I made out of scraps, and this one I made using the Morning Mist mini strips collection. So I just love how it turned out. Alrighty, so let's head to the sewing machine and see how we do this. Are you ready to make some trees? Our little trees are going to be 3 different colors. I just thought that would be fun. I'll decide what order I want them in later. I'm going to use a green trunk. I wanted to make these out of my Morning Mist mini strips. So I am going to use the stitch and flip method because then I was able to cut my Morning Mist strips were already 2.5, and these are from the pack of white and white on white. I'm sorry, charms. The white on white charm pack. I get too many packs in my head. Okay, so I was able to cut these. You know, they are a 5-inch square, so I was able to just cut them into fourths. That gives me 8 of them, which is exactly what I need. So I'm going to set 2 aside to go with my trunk. And these 6 here, I need to draw a diagonal line on the back of each of them to use as my stitch mark. So really quickly, we'll just do a quick diagonal, just like that. And I'll be able to chain piece all of these together, which will make it go a little bit faster. This week, it's a very, very quick block because there's not a whole lot of extra pieces to it. This is going to be an 8.5-inch block. Again, because I wanted to use my Morning Mist collection. I just thought they would be the cutest little trees. You can do these in whatever size. I'm making my trees with 3 on them. You can make them with 4, however, but I wanted 3. You know, I make things up as I go along. Okay, so we're going to start with our first one. It doesn't matter if you start right or left, but you do want to start from the bottom corner to the center. That's how you want to align your diagonal line, from the bottom corner to the center, right sides together, of course. Just like that. And if you remember from our Tuesday technique, oops, I want to change it. We are going to sew just to the right of that line so that we have the fabric to accommodate the fold over. Alrighty, just to the right. There we go. Perfect. And I am going to just feed my next one in. Just like that. So if you didn't get a chance to watch the Tuesday technique, I showed you this method, and I showed you how to make the traditional flying geese, cutting triangles and, well, 2 different sizes of triangles. Now I'm going to just go ahead and add my little tree trunk while I'm here, just as a placeholder. So at one side of it, and then I'm going to bring these guys out, clip them apart, and I'm going to cut off this back section. So with this method, there is a little bit of a waste. Now, if this were a little bit bigger, I would have sewn a second line and then had another little half square triangle right there. But even for me, that's a little bit small, so I haven't done it this time. usually if my half square triangles are 3 inches, these are 2.5. Usually at 3 inches is my limit. I will sew another seam right here, and that will give me that other little square that I can then use in a border or in a mini quilt or something. I don't know. Okay, so we get those done. We are going to press them all towards the sky unit. Okay, this little guy here, the green ones in this case, are our goose unit, and this is our sky unit. This block is named because it's supposed to look like a formation of geese flying once you get both of them on there. So we're pressing away from the geese unit and into the sky, regardless of which one is dark or light. You have to do that for this point later. But we'll just get them pressed, finger pressed, and then final press. There we go. Okay, so now we have those 3 ready, and we can add the other side. And for on this one, again, we're starting at the bottom corner and up to the center, top center. Now, if you notice, they're overlapping here. That's what you want. You want a nice little overlap. You want, let me find my pointer here. Yeah, here we go. We'll use the scissors. You want this point that hits this seam and your line to be 1/4 of an inch from your top. And that is going to give you your seam allowance that you need when we hook our little trees together. So I'm going to start from the bottom point just because it's a little easier for me. And sew right on up. And this one, and you need to make sure all of your edges are aligned evenly. It's like that, like that. My point is right. Everybody's happy, happy. And we'll go ahead and sew it. And the final one. And there we go. Now remember I had my little tree trunk up here. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to add the other white one. While I'm here, I'm finger pressing towards the green on this. And we'll add this little white square right there. So the tree trunk is cut 2.5 by 1.5 for the green. And then these are 2.5 by 2.5. We will have to trim this down a little bit once we get all done here. Okay, and cut those guys apart. Trim them up. There we go. And then we will press them open. And then we have our 3 treetops already done. See how quick that is? Okay. So I'll bring my pressing mat over here, and we will quickly just press these out. Quick set, and finger press, and out. Finger press, and out. Now this is a bias seam, so I'm going straight a grain. I'm not going up the bias. Finger press, and out. All right. Look how cute those little trees are. And you see we have our 1/4 of an inch from here to there on all 3 of them. So those are all set. They are all 4.5 inches wide. You notice this is a little bit wider. because I just used the extra squares. I could have cut those down a little bit, but just use the extra squares. I'll trim them down once we get them all put together. Okay, now it is time to decide what order you want your trees in. I think I'm going to put the dark one in the middle. Nope. I'm going to go from dark. I'm going to put the light on top and get darker as we go down. How's that? I think that's cute. And then this will go down here. Okay, so now we have, I'm going to turn them this way. I'm going to fold this one over on top of that one. Now, if I sew from this side, I'm sewing blind to hit my point. So I'm going to turn it over, and that way I can see where this point is. And again, like we did when we sewed our the sky units on, I want to make sure that I am one stitch to the right of that point to accommodate the fabric fold over. Now at this point, I'm going to put my 1/4 inch foot back on. Okay, and away we go. See, now because I have the goose up, I can see that right there, and I can watch, and it looks like I am hitting it just perfectly. So this one, we don't have a goose that's going to have to match up, but we do have to center it because we haven't trimmed it yet. So I'm going to fold this one in half and get a little crease right there. I'm going to fold this one in half and get a little crease right there. And now I can match those two creases up, and I know I'm centered. I have pressed towards the green there, and off we go. Now I could have gone over and trimmed this one already to the 4.5 inches. Wouldn't matter which order you do it in. Okay, we are almost there. Trim this up. Now we have one more here to match with this one here. So look how nicely that point matched up there, because I was very careful when I sewed it to not cut that point off. So had I sewn it and come to this side, that point would have been square on top instead of pointed. So you always try and have that, the one that you need to monitor on top, so that you can, oh, I got it perfectly again. Can get it now. If it were a little bit off and I was going to hit that point, as I was coming up to it, like right about here, I could tell that I wasn't going to hit that point properly. I would have angled off just a little bit so that I could, and then come back gently back on, because it's really important to have that point match. Well, and look at there. They all match beautifully. Now I need to press this. If you notice, they are all wanting to press up, because this seam right here, all of these are much stiffer than this. So its natural press is towards the top. So I'm going to go with the path of least resistance and press them up, being careful not to stretch anything. I'm not sliding. I'm getting that seam. I'm kind of lifting and going to the next one. Oops, now you got the back of my head. I'm doing this seam, lifting and going to this one, and then lifting to go to that one. That way I'm not stretching anything. Okay. We need to trim off this last little bit here that we had left. So I'll just bring up my little mat, and I'm going to line my ruler up with the whole side of that. I'm going to double check that I'm straight here. I'm going to put that line right on the bottom of my tree and just take it off. I love my titanium blades. They just make this so simple. Okay, line that up. Trees lined up. And one quick push with that rotary cutter and it's gone. Okay, my trees are done. My trees are done. All right. Now I'm going to take, and this should measure right about 8.5 inches, or 8 inches, right there, 8 inches. Look at that, right at 8. So I'm going to cut, these are going to be my side pieces. I'm going to cut them to 8 inches also. You could, because it's a small block, you could just sew them down and trim them off at the end if you'd like. Either way works well. But I'm just going to, while I have my mat up here, I'll just take care of that. There's the 1, there's the 8. And then I also like to, because I have now this little piece that's there, it is about 1.5 inches wide left over, or 2 inches. My trees are just a smidge longer than 8. They're about 8.25, so I'm going to bring it up and get that. Get my angle. Okay, I'm holding my rotary blade wrong. There we go. Got my angle. Okay, so while I have it here, I'm going to just cut this down to a usable size. They're not quite 2 inches. So I'm going to trim them to 1.5 inch squares that I can use in a different project later. It just keeps my scraps from building up to where I have to trim everything all at once. If you just kind of catch them as you go, sometimes it works. Sometimes you're just in too big of a hurry, but there I have those. I'm going to pop them in my little starter ender box, and I'm going to take my 2 pieces and sew them to either side of my trees. Just like that. Now again, I have a point here, so I'm going to turn it around so I can watch that point, so I don't cut off any points on my trees, because we wouldn't want that. And there we go, all the way up. And I'm going to line this one up on this side and do the same thing. And then our little 8-inch block is done. Oop, I got a flip. Make sure I catch it and turn it down. And voila, we're done. Isn't that great? I love my little trees. So this could be a cute little pot holder. It could be a quilt block. It could be all sorts of different things that you would want it to be. So thank you for joining me today for this classic little tree block. And I will see you next time. Happy quilting.